Welcome, welcome, welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Beluga. Today, we're going to be doing a reaction video, another reaction video. Now, I post this, some of you may saw it, some of you may not have saw it, but I post this in my community tab that I was putting all my projects on hold. I was going to react to this video. This video is so repulsive. It's repulsive because it doesn't just go after the ending, which is, you're completely wrong, but you're still... they're still sort of in the ballpark, is what I'd say. And it's I can see why. This video, it seems as though it's a little bit different. I watched less than 30 seconds, and the reason why I watched less than 30 seconds is because I wanted to be able to show everyone. Their arguments are so bad, so poorly thought out, so shallow, that I can debunk them as they're being said. Now, I watched about 20-30 seconds to see what this guy's about, and it appears to me as if this isn't your typical ending hating. This is going to be more about Season 4, I think, and about it straying away from what it was setting up, and it was most certainly not straying away from what it was setting up. And by it, I mean ending. Ending was not straying away from what building this entire time. Right? It is been the same story from chapter 1 to chapter 139. So, the video.
Titan fell off. And it's a shame because this anime... Man, Attack on Titan fell off. And it's a shame because this anime was the anime you told people to watch to get them into anime. So what the hell happened? How did it go from being one of the greatest being one of the worst? I think it has something to do with straying too far away from the things that made it good in the first place. Also, the setup and payoff was not good at all. Well, to be more specific, the payoff wasn't good. The setup was the peak of Attack on Titan, actually. So, the payoff sucks, and you stray too far away from what makes the series good. Kinda get a shitty formula. Well, what made the series good in the first place? For me, it wasn't the characters.
That's a good question. That's a good question. What did make the series good? I would like to know. Everyone who keeps Attack on Titan was a masterpiece. Aaron's peak MC. Why? No, genuine question. Why? I'm glad he's going to bring this up because I think there's going to be some massive and very shallow reasons. Massive differences and very shallow reasons as to why he thought it was so good. So let's continue. Again, people who like Attack on Titan should also, Americans should also like the rest, or should appreciate the rest of the American literature canon, like Grapes of Wrath, for example, The Great Gatsby, things like that. But if you don't appreciate those works, and you do like Attack on Titan, I have to wonder, what is going on in your head? Why do you like one thing but not the other? And again, I'm not saying it's bad per se. I'm saying personal preference is perfectly fine, right? I'm just saying I begin to call into question. That's all I'm saying. Just call into question. So, and we're going to see what he means in a second here.
The gore, or the twists, and all the turns. For me, it was the themes. I really liked the religious aspect of the show.
Okay, so starting off very small here, the religious aspect. Extremely small. Like, literally extremely small. Very, very... As far as, like, themes go, religion is, like, at the bottom. I did actually did a video about the themes of Attack on Titan, and religion wasn't even one of them. Not even close. I did a whole bunch of things. I've talked about Attack on Titan and its themes ad nauseum. Not once have I brought the religious aspect. I brought religion into it, but as far as it being in the story directly, it's not there.
And I know that sounds weird. So
what is there? But let's see, he knows it's weird. It's not there. It's not there as much as he's making it out to be.
Let me give you an example. For every man that feeds the poor, takes care of the old and sick, there's always something dark and scary and disturbing. And I think this hits me hard because I was raised learning about God, Jesus, sins, all of that, but we never talked about the devil. I think it's something to do with, like, the dirty truth, something ugly in a world of what we thought was just beautiful and magical at the time when I was a kid, and I believed all of that. And that kind of affected me all the way up until now, because I still believe in demons and spirits and ghosts. So With that being said, even though I don't consider myself religious anymore, when I still look at old paintings of devils and gods and, well, mainly because it's the one I'm familiar with, Jesus and stuff like that, I get genuinely unnerved. And now imagine my surprise when you watch the outro of Attack on Titan and you get this
Season
symbols
2.
and imagery of devils. I'm kind of intrigued, to say the least. It's kind of right up my alley. Now, I don't think I can show you the entire
Yeah,
outro,
Season 2.
so I've messed around with the colors and all of that. It's still probably going to get flagged, but it has everything I was talking about. You have imagery conveying the...
So it's kind of funny. He's like, "Oh, I don't like the twists or the turns of the characters. I like the religious aspect." And he shows us the season 2 outro, which of course is most famous and most pertinent as far as its foreshadowing goes. That's the entire point of that season 2 outro, was the fact that it was foreshadowing what was to come. The religious aspect is extremely small. So it's all about history and foreshadowing. That was it. So world, if you want to talk about in literary terms, world building and foreshadowing. And he decides to take literally the smallest piece of it and say, that's what I liked about it. And I think we can see now why we can begin to paint, I'm jumping to conclusions here, but I think we can begin to paint a bigger picture about what this guy actually is and why he was a fan of the show, and why he was a fan for the wrong reasons. And yes, as I said, you can be a fan of something for the wrong reasons. Because, well, you have to. Because it's one or the other. There's actually 3 options. Either the ending was up to your opinion, the ending was good, or the ending was bad. Just only those 3 options. Now, I'm not one of those people who says that's up to your opinion. Your opinion's irrelevant. It's either good or it's bad. It doesn't matter. Now, other people say other things. That's perfectly fine. Go ahead, do that. As far as from where I'm coming from, and where he's coming from, he's making an objective statement. Why Attack on Titan failed? It didn't go up to his themes. I'm saying, if there's a right way to watch it, it's what the author's trying to convey in it. You're watching it for a different reason, so you're not going to get that message. It's like, to bring up an example, it's like watching it's like a white supremacist watching a film about the good things that different races did. Well, to him, it's going to be disappointing because he's watching it to see colored people fail and other races fail, and to see white people be supreme. But if white people aren't supreme and they don't have dominance in the show, well, he's not going to like it because he's watching it the wrong way. Again, I'm not saying he's like that. I'm just saying the author has a direction for it, and this fan has a direction for where he wants it to go, and they didn't line up. So you're watching it in the wrong way. Okay, that's what I'm saying. And as we can see here, he's focusing on the religious aspect, which is, again, extremely minuscule. Let's continue.
The truth that we just do not understand. But on the contrast, we have kids singing, making light of the situation. It's scary and eerie and off-putting. It's genuinely one of my favorite things about the anime. I think religion works so well on Attack on Titan because it falls in line with everything else. Religion for everyone is such a human thing to look for.
I will give him props for being super original here, because this is extremely original. So, good on him for being original by talking about the religious aspect.
To something, to have faith in something, to hope in something. It's really powerful, and considering Attack on Titan is all about survival and death and being scared, religion fits right in. So I hope by now you can see how important religion is for Attack on Titan, at least for me. I hope you can see my point by now. So with all the build-up of devils and doing deals with devils and religion, all of it doesn't matter. Yep, none of it
See,
matters.
right here, exactly. So so he wanted to. Oh my gosh. So he wanted to. dude, my brother. If you want a book or a story about religion, and again, I'm not trying to be sarcastic or condescending, I promise. You can read the Bible. And again, I know, you've already read the Bible. Okay, get it. There's hundreds of pastors, and there's hundreds of teachers, and we have the internet. I would bet, I would be perfectly fine to bet $50. If you spent 2 weeks spending 2 hours a day trying to find a pastor you like, maybe 2 months, you would find a pastor that you like, okay? Or that's entertaining or whatever. Trust me, you would, okay? This was not about religion. I'm sorry, Attack on Titan was not about religion. And no one has said that. If Yama hasn't said it, I mean, maybe he's put little things in there, but it's really is about freedom. If people say, "Oh, what's the second time about?" It's about freedom. That's the thing. The main theme, the overarching theme, is freedom. That's it. Again, literally, from page 1 to the last page in April, but then it got extended. So from April to from 2007 to 2009 to the unfinished ending in April 2021, it's been about freedom. Okay, from start to finish. It was not about religion. It was not a religious book. Can you draw religious stuff from it? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can talk about that if you want me to. I can make a full 3-4 hour video about it. Not literally, but I can talk about it. But my brother, that was not one of the themes. And see, this is what I'm saying. He had direction. Seal had direction. That's why disappointed. Let's continue.
It's aliens the entire time. And I guess that's where setup and payoff comes in.
See, exactly. So this is what I'm saying. It's not a typical ending hating video. He goes back to season 3.
How are you going to set up your story the entire time to be about religion and scary things like that?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. He wasn't. The first thing, the set up his story. The whole point of it. By the way, it's hilarious. This is hilarious, and this is funny because I'm a religious person. I'm probably more. I don't want to brag, but I'm probably more religious than this guy, since he you would say in our terms he lost the faith, so to speak. So and my father's a pastor, for goodness sakes. We planted a church. I don't even go and bragging about that. All I'm saying is that I am a religious person, and I am not offended or upset by this at all, or because it wasn't about religion. Isiyama, from what I can see, is a secularist. He brings up a creator one time. One time he brings up a creator. And that's very basic stuff. So, for you to say you were upset about it being a religious book and it failing to execute on the theme, so you're going to be upset because it wasn't about religion, it was about freedom. And the whole point of the religious of the cult, of the wall cult, was to show corruption and power, which would happen in season 3, where that theme continues about how powerful people are corrupt. Interesting how it works. Also to foreshadow stuff like don't touch the wall, they're sacred, they were given to us, blah blah blah. Like, come on, it's right there. So that wasn't the point of that. But let's continue.
And for it to just be about fucking aliens the
Oh
entire
god,
time.
this can't be
Just
real.
space guys. Like, come on. It's clear as day, the infamous panel of Ymir falling down the tree and seeing
Infamous.
the alien latch onto her. God, it was so disappointing.
See, that's what I'm saying.
And it had such a bad effect on the story
Not
as
your
well,
typical ending
because it
video.
went from Titans being questions about humans to whatever, to being just almost like a power-up, like a shonen type, I've got a mech suit type thing. It's
Oh my god.
so boring. Attack on Titan's got some pretty good characters. You got the tick.
I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. Like, was it disappointing? I mean, no. I mean, they still are humans. I mean, like, I don't know what to say about this. I don't know what to say about this.
TikTok e-boy Aaron. You got the big man himself, Captain Levi. You got the greatest of all time, Erwin, Giga Chad Reiner, and the homeboy Mike. So out of everyone here, why is Erwin the best character? Well, he's the only one that died. And before anyone says anything, Aaron didn't die, he turned into a bird. And if you say, no, Aaron did die, that bird wasn't Aaron, then why the fuck was a random bird going up to Mikasa just for like no reason? And like, I get it, like birds are free.
I mean, I personally believe in a time loop, so that's kind of like a great, like, did he die, did he not die? Like, if his body gets looped after he dies, is he really dying? So, and let's just say he didn't live to 30. That's in my view of the story. So,
Aaron's now free, so the bird's supposed to symbolize Aaron. But if that's not legitimately actually Aaron, then it's actually just a random fucking bird. Or, new theory, every bird in existence is now Aaron. So why bring up characters? I'm not ranking them on how much I like them, kind of, but it's to do with setup and payoff. Your favorite character can and will be killed at any moment in this story. I mean, do you remember the first 2 seasons? When you had your first favorite character, you were praying to God that your character was important enough not to just die randomly. So when season 3 comes around and everyone's life is on the line, you're terrified. Because this show has been setting up this world for it to be your character will very well die in order to make progress. And Owen was the embodiment of this. And then when he has so many cool moments in the show and so much backstory, and then for him to die, you're devastated. But then you're like, we live for that shit. That's why we're watching the show. That's why we're coming back. That's why we're reading it.
No, the reason why Erwin's death was good was because it showed us something very important about the overall theme of the story, freedom, and the themes of contentment, which is why Erwin smiles when Levi tells him to give up on his dreams and die. Much like what happened with Kenny. So, no, that's why I liked his death. And again, I'm telling you, if you like the scene where they are choosing between Erwin and Armin, because it's cool and exciting, I agree, it's cool and exciting scene, but that's not what you take away from it. That's the dessert. That's the appetizer. The entree, the meat and potatoes. What makes that scene valuable is its commentary on contentment. Right? Again, using Kenny again. He wanted to be free. What his freedom was, what he was drunk on, was he wanted to have the Valentine so he can have the incredible power, so he can have compassion. That's what he wanted to. He couldn't get it, so what did he do? He let himself die by giving the injection, funny enough, the injection, to Levi, thus doing a compassionate act, thus dying a peaceful, happy, content, free man. Okay, because he accomplished his goals. Erwin is the same thing, right? Letting go of that thing that he wanted. How do I put this? And it's the same for Aaron. I'll talk about Aaron later. Not in this video. I'll talk about Aaron later. The spirit of his goal and not his actual goal, right? So as I said, like okay, so if my goal is to have good candy, right? And I say I want this particular chocolate, I want Hershey's chocolate. But let's say I don't like chocolate, right? Eating that chocolate's not going to bring me freedom. Only eating another type of candy, will bring me freedom. So it's that disconnect, right? With Kenny, right? He wanted the candy, but he went after Hershey's chocolate. He diverted from Hershey's chocolate at the end to get the other candy, right? Let's say Smarties as an example. Still candy, still his goal, like the spirit of his goal, but it's not the particular fixation he had. The particular fixation being obtaining the Valentine. So the same was for Erwin, right? Was to give up on his dream and die, right? And again, remember, Erwin smacked the injection away. Levi chose Erwin. Erwin smacked it away because he knew Armin would be better, and that sacrificing himself as a soldier, sacrificing himself for humanity, whatever, that brought him genuine contentment and freedom in that moment. Okay, so that's why Erwin's death is important. That's top priority. Everything else comes second. The soundtrack or the lack thereof, the tension, the voice acting, that's all secondary to that. But that's what you guys don't understand, and that's why we ending defenders say you don't understand the story. You're too distracted by flashy things. You get the appetizer and you say this is the creme de la creme. This is what I want. This is the good part. When the whole meal is sitting on the table.
Hypothetically, what would happen if we stray away from all of these things that make it great? End of hypothetical, you'll get the ending of Attack on Titan. But how does this ruin characters? Let's talk about Reiner. My list of favorite characters went from Owen to Reiner, and then when the series ended, it somehow went back to Owen. How the fuck did that happen? Reiner had the best setup and the worst payoff. Oh, hot take from me, I don't like the setup and payoff. Can you believe it? Now, I don't ever want my channel to be sappy and depressing and sad, but this is very important, so I'll try and keep it quick and maybe uplifting, maybe probably not. So a lot of people can identify with the characters in the show. It's a sign of good writing. It just means you've done a good job of making your characters feel very human and real. And a lot of people can identify with Reiner. Sadly, it's not because we are fucking the most beautiful men in the world and trained to be a Titan from a young age, but Reiner resonates with people who can't forgive themselves. Even when people look up to you, care about you, and even forgive you, you might not feel like they're really meaning it. Even if they tell you to get over it or it's been such a long time, you're just stuck. And that's what a depression is. You're just stuck and you can't move on. So without it getting too dark, I'm going to end it here because I could talk about this forever. So for people who aren't going through a situation like this, I'll just leave it at this. If you know, you know. I haven't given much examples of this type of depression, but if you know, you really truly know. You don't need a big paragraph to tell you how you feel. So a final message to the people that are going through this, you do already know the drill. Continue to struggle. I'm sure it'll get better one day. I mean, that's what we live by, right? Alright, I'm glad that's over. That was so fucking cringe. That's why we should bottle our emotions up so we don't cringe. Let's set the stage. Let's get into a rhythm. Let's talk about Reiner and Reiner's backstory. Also, sorry if I do like a cringe, deep, sappy voice so I set the tone, but I kind of want to do like a story-based thing. Oh, Reiner was the child of an Eldian mother and a Marleyan father. Because he was Eldian, he grew up believing he wasn't...
Oh, what happened? I thought any haters didn't like recaps. If you know, you know.
After all, his father did leave his family just because of him, and all Reiner did was exist. He didn't do anything wrong. All he ever wanted was for his father to like him and his mother to stop crying, purely for the fact that she existed. And Reiner had a plan to get exactly that. He was going to join the warrior program. If he could pass training and be promoted to a Titan, his mother could stop crying. And maybe, just maybe, his father would respect him again. So off Reiner went, day after day, training after training. Reiner would finally succeed and become a Titan. Throughout his training, he wanted to give up. He always fell, but he always got back up. The thought of his mother not living in fear anymore, and his father greeting him with a smile, was enough to make him get up and push on. After a short parade, he went to go find his father. All of that blood, sweat, and tears, this is what it was for. This was what he was working towards, to see his father greet him with a smile. Instead of a happy father, he found a raging old man. The old man cursed Reiner's name, yelling about how he regrets having a child with an Eldian. The old man tells Reiner to leave and stop ruining his life. Any adult could see Reiner's father was just angry at the world and wanted to put the blame on anything but himself. But Reiner was just a child. He couldn't see that. All he could see was a young Eldian boy who's done nothing but ruin his parents' lives. How ignorant, Reiner thought. I'm a disgusting Eldian. I need to earn the respect of the people around me. I must complete my mission. This is where I believe Reiner made a toxic complex. Reiner must put away his own happiness and his own mental health for the satisfaction of people that will never respect him. Reiner and the other warriors went on to continue their mission, to breach the wall. The warriors have been running for hours on end. They decide to take a break. While they're resting, an argument breaks out. As they argue, a Titan sneaks up behind them, and the Jaws Titan sacrifices himself to save Reiner. They escape the Titan, but the team is breaking apart. Annie thinks it's best to retreat. After all, they haven't even made it through the wall, and they're already down a Titan. Reiner's complex disagrees. How could he go back empty-handed? How could he get the respect he wants if he's failed his mission? After a long fight with Annie, he finally...
You know, I wish instead of debating stupidness like the ending and all this other nonsense, I wish we would debate this. This is a very good scene to debate. I wish we'd have good moderate debates about this instead. I don't know why I started the video for that. I just saying, if anyone wants to debate this, please let me know, because I would love to have a
to continue the mission, even without the partner.
thing about this.
They continue to breach the wall to find the founding Titan. They go undercover as civilians who lost their homes to the Titan attack. The attack that they caused, that killed thousands of people and left many homeless. The warriors needed a place to stay, so they joined the training corps. During basic training, Reiner made many friends along the way. He got something he wanted, but not from the people he wanted it from. He got respect. Reiner quickly got a reputation for being the big brother type. He would look after the people that needed help, and in return they'll look after him. For many years, Reiner would spend his life with the Eldians, the people who were supposed to destroy it. Even when he was young, he never hated Eldians. He only did what he did because that's all he knew. Over the years, that toxic complex didn't go away. It did something much worse. It stayed hidden, always affecting his thought process, always telling him what to do without him knowing it, always conflicting with what he actually needs, what he actually wants. Annie, Reiner, and Bertolt are discussing their plans. A longtime friend, Marco, overhears their conversation and thinks they're joking. All four of them start to panic. Reiner makes a decision. Their mission cannot be compromised. Reiner pins down Marco and takes off his ODM gear, leaving him to die and be eaten by a Titan. As Marco gets eaten away, Reiner asks Bertolt and Annie, why is Marco being eaten? What's happening to him? Reiner's mind is beginning to break. That toxic complex made him kill Marco. But Reiner didn't want to. He didn't need to, but he did. That toxic complex dragged him back down to continue his mission. A mission that he started to not want to do anymore. After all, he found people...
Again, I haven't watched this, but I bet you anything, he's not going to talk about the declaration of war. And if he is going to talk about it in the wrong way. Again, just make it a prediction, because I know, the reason why I'm doing this is because I know how these people think. I know how they are, and I know what their blind spots are. And I'm telling you, if or when he gets to declaration of war, which is in season 4, which is supposedly bad, he's not going to talk about the recontextualization of Reiner's character in that moment.
Later down the line, they realize Eren has the founding Titan, so they join the Scout Regiment to get closer to him. Time passes and Reiner forgets his original goal as a warrior. But how? How can he forget such a thing? At this point in the story, Reiner is happy. For the first time in his life, everyone looks up to him. They see him as an older brother, and he embraces that. He protects the people who are supposed to kill, and even started to fall in love with him.
Okay, so I think, Reiner's a very complex character, obviously, because Isayama is the GOAT. But, I would suggest... Giguk? Is that his name? Giguk? Hold on a second. Rhetoric is his name. This video will change the way you see Reiner. I might link it, I might not, but that video is a very excellent video about, Reiner and his his psyche, how he feels, and what he does to his shore. So I think that's a great video to watch. This guy, I mean, the way he's describing Reiner is, I mean, I'd say it's acceptable. It's an acceptable analysis. It's lacking, obviously, in some areas, but if you really want to understand Reiner's psyche and character, that's the video you're going to want to watch.
Sadly, his true happiness was short-lived. The scouts spotted a Titan climbing the wall. To everyone else, this was
And just to briefly summarize, Reiner has actually 3 personalities: his true one, the warrior, and the soldier. The warrior and the soldier are both created out of trauma and necessity, essentially. And his true personality, well, is unexplored, which is why his character ending with him and his mom reconciling is good, because he gets to actually be who he's supposed to be instead of either a warrior or soldier. Because again, he's never supposed to be a warrior to begin with. That's the entire point of him not having of the whole Marcel thing. Because wait, no, Marcel. No, sorry, not the Marcel thing. The Porco's family. That whole thing. He was supposed to get the armor. Wasn't supposed to get the armor, but his brother talked down his brother, but talked Reiner up because he's not supposed to be a warrior either. So both are pretend, right? And that's why his conclusion is good. It makes sense. But he's gonna say otherwise, right? Because he doesn't understand the story. Like vast majority of haters don't understand the story.
He's a strange abnormal type, nothing too unusual, but the Rhino isn't at the end. It's been many years since Rhino and the others invaded the wall. This was extremely concerning for Marley. Why is progress moving so slow? Shouldn't they be back by now? The Marlian sent over Z, the Beast Titan. He was there to watch over them, to see the progress, to see what's taking so long. That toxic complex, it resurged. Seeing Z reminded him he was meant to kill all these people. He was meant to get the Phantom Titan. He wasn't meant to make friends. The things that made him truly happy.
What?
After a long battle between the scouts and Z,
might be true.
Everything good in Reiner's world was about to crumble. Atop the wall, Reiner grabs Eren, and he tells him he's the Armor Titan, and Bertolt the Colossal. Why? Why would he do this? Why would he risk his entire operation? Why would he tell Eren that he's the thing he hates the most? It's the toxic complex. The toxic complex is fighting Reiner's actual ideals, what actually makes him happy. He wanted to prove his worth to the Malians, but he also wanted to have his friends. But he could not have both. This was his mistake. This is why he asked Eren so casually. He just wanted Eren to come along and everything to go well. He didn't hate anyone, but that toxic complex was forcing him to do the wrong thing. After Reiner realizes the massive mistake he made, him and Bertolt hatch up a plan to capture Eren and run away as quickly as possible. The plan works and they run away to a forest with large trees and many fighters. It's important to note that at this point in the story, Reiner knows who is the Jaw Titan, the very one that ate his friend years ago. So along with Eren, they also captured Ymir. At this point, Reiner's brain is completely broken. 1 second he's happy with Eren, empathizing with him, talking about how he's still a soldier and still a scout. The next, he snaps.
At this point, his brain was completely broken because it was perfectly fine beforehand. Again, I said beforehand it's acceptable. This is strained from acceptable to just flat out not understanding Reiner's character at all. And I'm gonna get to why. After he finishes the drink up, I'll get to why this is a mischaracterization, why it's so fatal. I already talked about one of the reasons why it's so fatal, but we're gonna discuss it more after he gets to this little spiel.
And here to destroy everyone. It's easy to say Reiner has a split personality, but I don't think it's that simple. His ideals and what makes him happy have been thrown away. He's doing what he doesn't want to do anymore, but what he doesn't want to do anymore is what he wanted to do before. He's put himself in a horrible situation. He was just a young child. All he wanted was the love from his father and his mother to be happy. And yet he's
untrue. You missed the third thing, but I'm not gonna mention it until later.
Ruined his friends. He's killed thousands.
Well, actually, sorry. I mean, you there's like a 2.5. Okay, it's sort of connected to the first two, but we'll see.
Everything's going wrong for Reiner. All he wanted was to be happy. He was just a young boy trying to do the right thing. So with all this
yeah, see, that's the error. This is the error people make with Walter White. Again, I haven't seen Breaking Bad fully, so don't post any comments in the comment section. But I know what I'm talking about either way. Okay, that's how big brain I am. But again, if you don't want to take my Walter White takes, don't take them. I haven't watched the show. But this is the same thing people with Eren Yeager, Reiner Braun, and Walter White. Oh, they're doing it for a good reason. Oh no, they're actually good and decent people. They had no bad intentions when they started. But as we'll see when he does consider the spiel, he quite clearly does. Both of them, all three of them.
The scouts set up an operation to rescue Eren and Ymir. The scouts retrieve Eren, and for her own reasons, Ymir goes with Reiner and Bertolt. The warriors get one last chance to capture Eren. The Armored, Colossal, Beast, and Cart Titan all come up with a plan. One final stand. The fight between the scouts and the Titans commence. The Titans do a good job of destroying the scouts' numbers, and even some of their heavy hitters like them. Overall, the scouts won. They solved the Colossal Titan, killing Bertolt, and they're one step closer to the truth about humanity. Reiner and the others are forced to return back to Mali. All of his old friends are either dead by his hands or hate him. He will return back home to where he'll be frowned upon by everyone for failing his mission. Besides Ymir, his only saving grace which allowed him to stay alive, he's lost everything. He has nothing again. Just a sad young boy trying to do the right thing. He's all alone now, resented by everyone, and no one to help him. For quite some time, Reiner has been living back at Mali. He spends years reassessing everything he knows. Who is the real villain of the story? The Eldians were devils, the Malians were the good guys, right? But I like some of the Eldians. I made friends with some of them, and at the end of the day, I was the one that ruined all their lives. But Malians are the good guys, and they're the bad guys. Spending years with the enemy made me happy. I almost forgot my mission, but everyone thinks the Eldians are evil.
He didn't almost forget his. I don't know why he keeps. That's the other thing. I don't know why he keeps saying. He did almost forget his mission. He was actively playing with Annie since, and we can see in the Trust arc where he's playing to break down more walls. I mean, and Annie's looking at him for direction. He was still leading the team, and even before that, they snuck in when they were 10, and they did whatever. So, and as you can see in volume, I think it was 26, they're doing reconnaissance missions when they were younger. So I don't know what he's talking about here. I genuinely don't know. I think the general consensus for people who understand the story is that they phase in and out. He fades between warrior and soldier. He goes back and forth between them. I think that's the general consensus. It's not like he was soldier for X amount of years, and all of a sudden the Beast Titan shows up now as a warrior. It's just not how that worked.
Because I'm part Eldian, Is that the only reason I like him? Every day, Reiner's past is weighing on him.
He never did. He say that? I don't remember him saying that. He might have said that. I haven't read it.
Past catches up with Reiner. The depression follows. The years of
Again, it's another. This is another.
being told he's worthless.
You know, scene that I think Razork did very nicely. And this guy, I mean, I don't want to demean the guy at all, but this guy, how can I say this respectfully? This guy just doesn't have. This guy just doesn't get it. We could say that way. To the point where he's not going to be able to provide the deeper analysis that Dirk did about this. Is about Reiner killing. He is committing suicide in this act, but not in the physical sense. He's killing that part of those parts of himself, the bad parts of himself, in this moment, and he's awakened with, obviously Falco comes to give him a new purpose to live, right? What you're supposed to be drunk on, right? That's the very, very big thing, which I'm surprised I never talked about. Since season 3, about the show, about life and stuff. So, again, I'm just saying that because he's not going to provide that context, and I'm trying to provide it for you. But props to Rinder for making the video.
Was fulfilling his mission, killing all of his friends, almost being killed by his friends. Everything was falling. Everything was weighing down on him. Is this how his story ends? Alone in a chamber, sitting on a chair with a gun in his mouth? All because he was a young boy trying to do the right thing. This is where he ends up. Reiner loads a bullet into his gun and places the barrel into his mouth. He puts his finger on the trigger, and we hear a bang. Just before Reiner pulls the trigger, Falco slams against the wall. Who is Falco, and why is he so angry? He's a warrior candidate, much like Reiner when he was younger, but why does he want to be the Eldian Titan? A young Eldian girl called Gabby fully believes that Eldians are devils, and wants to become a Titan so she can be respected by the Malians, much like Reiner. Any person that becomes one of the 9 Titans receives the curse of Ymir. The curse only allows the user to live for 13 years. Falco is training hard to beat Gabby so he can become a Titan and die in 13 years instead of her. But Falco is naturally passive and caring, and not at all good at fighting. He's struggling to beat Gabby in training, and at this rate, she will die in 13 years and become a Titan. Unknowingly, Falco saved Reiner's life, filling him with determination to get back up, like he always does. A young child trying to do the right thing and protect the one he loves, and a young child trying to gain the respect of the people that don't respect her. Reiner finally has purpose again. He's going to be the things he never had when he was younger. He's going to respect and care for them and teach them and be a friend. Time heals all wounds. Reiner starts to recover. He has purpose. He's happy. All those haunting memories haven't left him, but he's learned to handle them. He's learned to grow. He's learned to move on. This is truly an important moment for Reiner. But sadly, as usual, as soon as something goes good for Reiner, things get much worse. The scouts have launched a surprise attack on Marley. Moments before the attack, Eren confronts Reiner. All those old
Here it
wounds
is.
reopen. Horrible memories.
He even has a panel up. Let's just see how this goes.
He's flooding back in, from childhood to adulthood. Everything that's gone wrong comes back to him in an instant. All of these haunting memories bring him back into a depression, which he thought he left a long time ago. I just need to clarify that I normally don't like Eren as a character, but in chapter 100, the dialogue between Eren and Reiner is perfect. It is beautiful.
No, it's perfect. I truly wonder why he thinks it's perfect. I think it's perfect too, but I would love to know why he thinks it's perfect.
After the conversation, Eren commences.
Hold on, let me just
The dialogue
rewind
between
this.
Eren and Reiner is perfect. It is beautiful. I recommend you read it over again. After the conversation, Eren commences the attack, with the scouts following soon after. The cries of Gabby and Falco are heard by Reiner.
And with that, I will end the video, and I'm going to do a part 2 later. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video.